Hello and welcome back to EclipseClan. Today we are picking up kind of in the middle of things, just in the sense that previously we went into a time skip and we know what happens there, but we didn't fully do everything that we could have. So first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody so much for their input on what to rename our very special tortoiseshell male cat. Yeah, River, previously known as Pigeon Paw. I had a lot of great suggestions last time, but looks like far and ahead. Everybody is really liking the name Python Paw. Thank you so much for voting. As of right now, that poll that I put up is only a couple days old, and we have 223 votes already, which is absolutely crazy. But I do think that Python is a bit more of a strong name and kind of suits his markings a bit better too. I also did see a lot of people pointing out that despite everything, Shortburn's probably not gonna keep Morbius Fang on the docket, so let's go ahead, switch around mentors a bit, because everybody was pointing out here that Shortburn does have a higher chance of grooming Wingpaw into keeping the Bloodthirsty trait. So we'll put Wingpaw over with Shortburn. I think everyone else is in a pretty good spot here. Sky Meadow could definitely benefit from an apprentice, though. A very special rare cat for the next proposed leader of the clan, so there we go. I think that works out okay, too. I'm forgetting if we rolled for this clan, or this moon's drama. So let's go ahead and do that just in case here. Oh, okay. So Morbius Fang shows Stick Nettle a scar that Shortburn gave them. This display of cruelty successfully convinces the other cat to rebel with them. So Stick Nettle is now considered on the rebellion side because of the scar that Shortburn gave Morbius Fang however many moons ago. So I'll go ahead and update that real quick. Okay, that has been updated here. So formally on the side of the rebellion, we actually have 3 cats: Stick Nettle, Morbius Fang, and Peakfur. And we still have a chance that, you know, conflict is going to happen. The longer that this goes on, the more likely it is to actually happen. And for Stick Nettle here, I think we'll just worsen Shortburn's relationship with the random cat because we can't really do Stick Nettle herself. Okay, there we go. I did see mentions about making other cats mediators in Stick Nettle's place. I don't know if we'll need it, depending on what the generator rolls. It could just be kind of a neutral thing that leads into more story-based stuff. But once Stick Nettle's kits are born, they'll all be apprenticed to her to help out with our generator, and just to keep this lineage thing going. So if she has 5 kits and they all get apprenticed, we'll have a billion mediators running around. Morbius Fang is currently sparring with some clanmates, as is McAster. I think we'll go ahead and jump into patrols, but first and foremost, let's have a little ceremony. Shortburn calls the clan together and stands above them, still a little weak from the Birth of Condor kit. She tucks her weak leg underneath her proudly, lifting her chin, and despite her weakness and despite her status, the cats are still reminded of the proud, strong leader that she is, or at least once was. The clan gathers around to hear what she has to say. Shortburn announces that she knows that this clan has always been destined for greatness and will not tolerate the weakness of any one member. She continues to say that some cats in the past have proven themselves to her, but she was too blinded at the time to see the potential that being in a long-term clan could have given them, and instead cast them out for a single mistake or two. Shortburn says that as a result, everybody is going to be allowed a quick pass at any past wrongdoings that they have. So presently, every single cat is considered neutral in her eyes. The clan looks at one another in shock, and immediately murmurs and gossip start to break out. With a commanding growl from Shortburn, it immediately stops, however. Shortburn then just says that we'll be judging cats moving forward based off of what they are currently giving the clan, but also what they have given the clan in the past. So cats that have always been strong but have gone through a rough time will be given a bit more leniency moving forward than cats that are just skating by, or cats that are struggling to bear their own weight. What this means is that everybody is going to have a chance to prove themselves to Shortburn, and if they prove themselves adequately, they'll be given a little bit more of a pass in the event that they are injured or other circumstances outside their control befall them. The clan is a mixture of shock, suspicion, and excitement at hearing this. If they're a good warrior, there's a chance that they won't get thrown out for being injured in what they were doing, protecting the clan or trying to get a risky piece of prey. At least not completely. Shortburn does imply that if you are a cat that is not contributing to the clan, and one who does not have values that align with EclipseClan, you can still be cast out anytime for any reason. Morbius Fang, Peakfur, and Signal all exchange mutinous glances, knowing that in some capacity Shortburn is referring either directly to them or at least to Morbius Fang. Shortburn then dismisses the clan, and excitedly they all embark on their patrols, except for Condor Kit, who is happily playing by herself. So we're gonna jump into our patrols now. And as stated there, all cats are going to currently be considered neutral. We're starting over with a completely fresh slate, and we are going to be going into kind of that like positivity that I described in the last episode. So if a cat does really well, then they have a chance to kind of gain that buffer against anything bad that could happen. If a cat continues to do poorly, they'll kind of climb down through those ranks into neutral, into the strikes, and once they get the third, they're out. So cats with positive traits or ideal traits would basically be able to go up indefinitely and can still kind of do whatever they want. Cats with good traits can go up to, we'll just say 5 for now. Cats with neutral traits can go up to 3. Cats with bad traits still probably can only go up 1, but that allows us quite a bit of leeway and really is going to still favor cats that have good traits there. So, all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into that. Boss Splinter takes out the 2 apprentices whose mentors are currently unwell, as well as her own. They have a disagreement and look to Claw Splinter to settle the dispute. But she stutters, and she doesn't think she's fit to lead this patrol. Meanwhile, the other 2 have a really nice practice session and get really into hunting, especially Cliffpaw. Sager Runner and Lightpaw hear distant howling and wonder whether to investigate the noise. Given the current situation, I think that they'll probably go ahead and, wanting to get ahead of the game, so to speak, proceed. So it turns out to be a coyote scavenging off a carcass, but they don't really think that they can fight that. But perhaps they can return later to take what the coyote leaves behind. I still think we'll count that as kind of a neutral for both of them. Okay, Hocus Pocus and Cougar Paw successfully gather some daisies, so now they're up one. While walking along the border, our patrol notices a Willow Clan patrol renewing their scent marks ahead. We will go ahead and antagonize them. Our patrol stands tall and approaches Willow Clan cats with insults and threats. They need to be sure that Willow Clan knows how strong the EclipseClan cats are. McAster spits and hisses until the other patrol leaves the area, intimidated by how we are acting. And relationships have worsened. Okay, so that's actually an up for everybody there. What Morbius Fang doesn't know is that she is actually limited to only up to. Okay, and that is our patrols. This is going to be a lot more documentation for me, but I think it'll be easier once cats kind of settle into their various spots there. And we'll go ahead and time skip them. Shortburn calls the clan to meeting and declares Lightpaw to be a warrior. They are now called Light Stripe and are celebrated for their boldness. Peekver had a litter of 4 kits and is absolutely refusing to talk about it or acknowledge it at all. Kits? What kits? Sticknettle is unsure how many kits they'll have. They decide to move into the nursery in preparation for their soon-to-come kits. Shortburn is healed from the Shran delivering their litter. Peekver had their kits. Python Paw groans their pelt, happy to find tears and wounds in it gone. As the herb stores are inspected, it's noticed that some of the mallow went bad and will have to be replaced. Hocus Pocus misstepped and slipped from a rock, but landed on their feet nimbly, their clanmates commenting on the show of dexterity. He rolled a natural 20 because no cat ever really seems to recover from that. And just take a quick look through here. Then we'll roll our own. You know, I gotta... Getting some spoilers for some of these kit names. Let's go take a look at them though. Oh, we got another cliff kit. So let's go ahead and change... Oh, Clover's cute. So our second cliff goes to Clover. Dust seems to be fitting of her. We have a speckled newborn female who's lonesome. A Bengal newborn female who is sweet. Midge, green-eyed ticked pelt newborn female who is bossy. And Gravel, who is a newborn female with a speckled pelt and pale green eyes and who's nervous. Peekver is going to hopefully be raising all 4 of them together. Since that's the intention of the challenge, we just haven't really had a whole lot of parents actually make it with their kids. But she'll be mentor to all of them. And she'll have her paws full, and that could also bode very unwell for Shortburn. Lightstripe turned out to be fierce and an impressive climber, and wants to get to know Cliffpaw better. Let's go ahead, I'll get my generator updated and then we'll roll for it. Okay, so Rush Reed is seen mocking Sky Meadow. That is going to be kind of a neutral thing. It could be any sort of mocking, but that basically just shows that Rush Reed is not supportive of Sky Meadow or even Shortburn, but in particular Sky Meadow. And that doesn't necessarily bode well for Rush Reed being a medicine cat and Sky Meadow being in the medicine cat den with a sprain. Sky Meadow could just be getting mocked for the sprain as well. So I'm not going to worry too much about those relationships, but that's going to be necessary to keep in mind. Shortburn is actually feeling unappreciated right now. She's probably expecting a much more positive outcome when she announced the decision that she made, but it seems like there's still a lot of unrest and dissent in the clan. Signal is worried that others are judging them. That could also be on Shortburn's side too. Morbius Fang is lecturing Python Paw. Ooh. Python Paw woke up on the wrong side of the nest. Condor Kid is asking the Messing Cat about Star Clan. Somebody also made a comment that Wingpaw looks like a mountain, and like with the snow cap, I can definitely see that being the case. Okay, let's send out our patrols here. Shortburn takes out Wingpaw and Python Paw, her and Sky Meadow's apprentices. They find a nice spot to sun themselves, but we don't get much done, lazing about and snapping at each other irritably. Since it's Shortburn, they get an automatic pass, but otherwise that would have been a strike, and that actually have been the second strike for the apprentices. Hocus Pocus looks at the calm, cloudless sky and decides it's a good opportunity to show Cougar Paw where some of the most commonly needed herbs are in the territory. As Hocus Pocus is explaining why and where the herbs are growing, Cougar Paw lets out a shout and bolts ahead. To Hocus Pocus's surprise, they found a previously unknown patch of an uncommon herb. Stunned but filled with pride that they found and recognized the herb, Hocus Pocus promises them first pick a fresh kill as soon as they return. Gather mullein and lungwort. While helping gathering herbs, Boulder Hawk stumbles upon a bush of red berries. Everybody here is already up one, except for Claw Splinter. So we're gonna not proceed, not touch the berries. The patrol hears the cat begging for their housefolk to come back, just barely legible over the sound of a monster speeding away. Sega Runner finds the kitty pet collapsed by the thunderpath, wailing for their housefolk. Sega Runner comforts them, asking why they were left here. The only explanation is that they were sick, perhaps too much of a burden. They are offered a place in the EclipseClan, and they tentatively accept, looking longingly at the thunderpath as they are led away. Flax Knight has joined the clan. Let's see this Flax Knight. Flax Knight is an adult male with yellow eyes and a rosy Bengal pelt, medium fur length, formerly a kitty pet, adventurous, and camp keeper with very little experience. They are sick with green cough, but that's better than red cough. And this is what they look like healthy. Signal had a litter of 4 kits and is absolutely refusing to talk about or acknowledge it at all. So, our army of mediators is starting. Rusher gazes up into Silverpelt and finds that the grief has begun to lessen. Sky Metal's sprain is healed. Quillbat has gotten heat exhaustion. Pretty easy with a black pelt, I'm sure. Light Stripe has gotten fleas, and Flax Knight's healed from green cough. We notice some dandelions gone bad and will have to be replaced. McAsser is seen speaking calmly to a cat from Willow Clan. Oof. Cannot have that. That is going to be a strike down. I'm probably going to refine my current technique because it just doesn't seem like it's working out very easily. Quillbat always seems to have crow feathers stuck in their fur. And then just the same again there. So I'll just scroll down through here. Oop, I got a spoiler for one of the kits' names. We'll just keep going down through here though. Pond Kid is showing up a lot already. Okay, let's take a look at these kits. I'm very excited. Look at how many kits we have now. So here's Clover Kid, a bit more grown up. Very pretty with that black and green. Dusk Kid also has that green. It's a bit more like a leopard, though. Midge has that same green. And then Gravel is a pale green. The green is very strong in the family, though. Then we have Barley Kit, a newborn male, Bengal pelt, with cobalt eyes, and who is impulsive. Jagged Kit, a marble pelt male, newborn pale yellow eyes, who's nervous. Pond, who is male newborn, hazel eyes, Bengal pelt, and sweet. And then Bounce, who's a newborn female, pale yellow eyes, and Speckle Pelt, who's insecure. So Pawn Kit, who is a newborn sweet male, is acting stuck up to McAster. I feel like that's just protection there. But it sounds like, yep, Signal just had a litter with somebody else there. And here's Quillbat, who is sick with that heat exhaustion. But this is what they'll look like with the crow feathers. Shortburn wants to speak to Signal about something. Okay. So Sky Meadow, I was just curious and I was looking at some relationships. Sky Meadow has a pretty positive relationship with Light Stripe and a bit of a crush forming. Light Stripe, on the other hand, has a little bit of a crush back, but doesn't really like and is pretty jealous of Sky Meadow. So that's a really strange dynamic to have there. And then Light Stripe also likes Stick Nettle, who likes Peak Fern Claw Splinter. So Shortburn is probably wanting to talk to Stick Nettle about either the kids or some of whatever weird love triangle is going on there. Because Stick Nettle likes Shortburn's mate. Stick Nettle is liked by Sky Meadow's crush. Sky Meadow just isn't liked at all. Hocus Pocus senses bubbling whisker nearby. Rushrate's been hearing the voices of Star Clan Cat, so I guess our deceased ancestors are being very loud right now. Sega Runner, Apricot Trot, and Claw Splinter are all trying to set a good example for younger cats right now. Peekfur is feeling underappreciated. Morbius Fang is finding Mothpaw annoying. McAster is lecturing Wingpaw on the warrior code. Boulderhawk wishes that they be chosen to go on a quest. Wingpaw is covered in prey blood after hunting. And Mothpaw is feeling nervous. That would be a very interesting sight to see. Branchpaw is just relaxing between training and patrol. Cliffpaw is daydreaming about having a family someday. Condor Kid is trying to look tough. I still love the juxtaposition of bullying and quick to make peace there for her. And before I forget, let's roll our generator. Okay, so Shortburn orders Hocus Pocus to scar Stick Nettle to remind them of their place in the clan. They fail in doing so, but Shortburn is still satisfied with the message. So Shortburn orders Hocus Pocus, Medicine Cap, somebody that she's close to scar Stick Nettle, who has been seen openly opposing her, to remind her. Hocus Pocus is a medicine cat, a doctor of the clan, and would have a hard time inflicting any kind of injury upon any cat, never mind a queen who literally just gave birth. Shortburn orders Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus tries but fails to actually follow through. Shortburn is still satisfied with the message, as being able to order Hocus Pocus to even try and do an act such as this, and for there to be serious consideration. Just the intimidation alone of Stick Nettle while she is in such a weak state means that Shortburn is still satisfied that a message got through, and I think Stick Nettle is appropriately shaken. Maybe this is what Shortburn wanted to talk with Stick Nettle about. That being said, let's take Shortburn out. Shortburn takes a patrol of Sky Meadow and their two apprentices out to see a big porcupine spot in one of the many glades of the forest. Wingpaw and Pythonpaw watch the big, bushy lump of a creature with wide eyes, tail switching with excitement. Shortburn points out the cascade of spines lying flat on his hairy back as the porcupine snuffles around, sounding like a happy newborn kit in a nursery. Hocus Pocus and Cougarpaw head out for Lungport, with Hocus Pocus starting a lesson on the value of the herb for treating yellow cough. Takes them all day, but they eventually find it, and they both are successful. While out training, Mothpaw stumbles upon a bush of red berries. Oof. Mothpaw is up a pretty fair bit. The claw splinter is not, so let's proceed. While plucking them from the bush, Mothpaw is surprised to find they taste pretty good. They rush back to camp for deathberry poisoning. Mothpaw got poisoned. Okay. We're walking a fine line with Claw Splinter, and Mothpaw is down. It's not really on any other cat but Mothpaw there anyway. Boulderhawk takes Clipaw out training, but unfortunately neither sets up to teach. Clipaw looks disappointed. Was Boulderhawk expecting for them to lead the training? The patrol is checking along the border lines when they hear a startling sound. A hiss of pain, they quickly follow it to its source. It's a loner who appears to be injured. We approach cautiously. The loner draws himself up, but in doing so causes them to let out another hiss. Blacksnight offers to bring them to camp, and though they seem hesitant, the loner agrees, and Rain Creek has joined the clan. Rain Creek is a trans female young adult cat with green-yellow eyes, a two-color pelt, and short fur. She is nervous, a good mediator with natural intuition, and is injured with a mangled tail. Wow. So here's what Rain Creek would look like. One dark paw. So Rain Creek is going to just start off neutral and will progressively go down. I can't say we didn't give her a chance. McGasser finds an abandoned kit whose parents are nowhere to be found. We rush the kit back to camp, who's nursed back to health, and promise a place in the clan. Acorn Kits join the clan. A young male with hazel eyes and a Bengal pelt, who is troublesome with a careful listener quality. 3 moons old. Cougar Paw has waited a long time for this day. Heart pounding, they listen intently as Hocus Pocus names them Cougar Speckle after their dignity. Rumors reach our clan that the exiled Swallowdrop has died recently. Been a long time since we heard that name. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that fits very well with our narrative here. After having Morbius Fang challenge them, Shortburn commands Lightstripe to help them punish Morbius Fang. Everyone ends up hurt, but Shortburn feels they can trust Lightstripe more. Okay, well, let's go through this and then we'll resolve that. Quillbat has recovered from heat exhaustion. Clover Kit has gotten a stomach ache. Blacksnight woke up with a mild headache but went about their day anyway, trying to ignore the nagging pain. Boulderhawk was seen arguing, borderline fighting with a loner. Python Paw tries to convince Boulderhawk to run away with them. Gravel Kit was playing with cardinal feathers earlier and decides to wear some of them. Acorn Kit falls into a river but is saved by Claw Splinter. Okay, wow. What I think we're going to do for this, obviously that's negative effect, what I think we're going to do with that is we're going to roll and see how this resolves, because after such an open challenge, we are not going to stand for having Morbius Fang in the clan anymore. It is now just going to be up to a generator. I think I'm going to improv on the fly to determine how that resolves with Morbius Fang. Is that the full-on rebellion? Is Morbius Fang backed up by the other cats who are not happy? Is Morbius Fang just exiled? Or is Morbius Fang killed? Are any other cats injured or killed in the conflict? Let's take a look here and find out. Well, I guess I missed when Gravel Kit picked up some cardinal feathers, but that's so cute too. So Morbius Fang ended up with a claw wound and a bite wound. Shortburn ended up with a claw wound, and Lightstripe ended up with a claw wound. Okay. Morbius Fang's definitely hurt enough for things to happen, so let me make a quick generator for that. Morbius Fang can't take Shortburn's cruel rule anymore. She thinks that she'll do a much better job. Morbius Fang yells out a challenge to clan meeting. Morbius Fang looks about for support, but is surprised to find none. Shortburn curls her lip with disgust, ordering Lightstripe to attack. Morbius Fang leaps at Shortburn, sending all 3 cats into a yelling whirlwind, while the rest of the clan looks on in horror. Shortburn holds Morbius Fang down, ordering Lightstripe to finish the job. They can't bring themselves to do so, which forces Shortburn to finish it herself. Okay, so this is probably what lines up most with what actually the generator made happen. It's not the most exciting outcome that there could have been. Just to give a bit of perspective, I'm going to roll this generator a couple more times just to see what the options would have been. So this is basically exactly the same, except instead Shortburn just outright kills Morbius Fang herself. Vindicated, Shortburn raises a paw, striking Morbius Fang down herself. This is one of the more exciting options that there could have been. So Morbius Fang looks around for support, satisfied when her followers stand at her side. Shortburn is enraged, ordering Lightstripe and her own followers to attack while she leaps at Morbius Fang. The 2 she-cats are sent in a battle of claws of fangs, while their 2 sides evolve into hissing and spitting battles. Claw Splinter viciously claws Peakfur, who is exiled from the clan for their transgressions. Sky Metal rips into Stick Nettle, who dies. Shortburn bites Morbius Fang, who is severely injured and allowed to stay in the clan as a prisoner that must prove himself. The deciding blow resolves the other infighting, with the other side being permanently exiled for their position. So there's still a little bit of contradiction in there, just with the way that the fate rolls. It's not really meant for Morbius Fang or Shortburn, depending on whose side wins. It's more so meant for their followers, so that would have had to have been re-rolled anyway, probably. But they all had an equal chance. Let me just get to the 3rd possibility, because I think that's the most exciting one. Okay, so it starts off the same. Morbius Fang can't take Shortburn's cruel rule anymore. She thinks that she'll do a much better job, and yells out challenge at clan meeting. Morbius Fang stands alone, surprised when she's not joined by those who'd supported her. Shortburn orders Lightstripe to attack, and they do so eagerly. While Shortburn looks on in satisfaction, Peakfur leaps at her, intent on their mission to topple Shortburn. The 2 groups of cats fight in surprise and rage, with much of the confused clan looking on in horror or scattering. Sky Meadow leaps to Shortburn's aid, while Stick Nettle manages to pull Lightstripe off of Morbius Fang. Hatred rekindled, Shortburn and Morbius Fang leap at one another while their followers fight. Sky Meadow rips Peakfur, who is severely injured and then exiled. Lightstripe rips Stick Nettle, who is severely injured, then exiled. Shortburn rips Morbius Fang, who dies. So there are a lot of different possibilities there, but we kind of got the simplest option, really. So that's totally fine. Unfortunately for Morbius Fang, we did just roll the option where in her skirmish with Lightstripe and Shortburn, she dies, so we'll go ahead and reflect that accordingly. Okay, so Morbius Fang died when she opposed Shortburn. She and Lightstripe subdued the rebellion before it could properly start. Morbius Fang stood alone, was overwhelmed, and died at their claws. Okay. And I think, since she didn't ever really seem to be super with Shortburn, she'll be in ClanGen. That's gonna have a lot of effects on a lot of different things, really. I think we'll go ahead, wrap up this moon, and then we'll leave it off there. Shortburn is not concerned at all with what just happened to Morbius Fang. She's wondering if she'd be a good swimmer. Cougar Speckle, who's responsible and a good climber, I forgot that. She graduated. Sick Nettle is feeling happy. I know she's cold, but you wouldn't think seeing an ally struck down so easily would lead to that. Lost Winter's worried about Acorn Kit, which makes sense since Sam was drowned. Lightstripe is asking Medicine Cat for herbs that may help them in battle. Which, I mean, does kind of check out. I do think that this really does cement Lightstripe over in Shortburn's corner, even though Lightstripe didn't necessarily follow through the full way. Also, just for reference, because I think we only rolled for Shortburn to have a good outcome, Morbius Fang had an equal chance of overthrowing Shortburn's followers. It was pure 50-50 to be the exact opposite of what happened, basically. Python Paw is taking some time to play with Gravel Kit in between training sessions, which is so cute. Mothpaw had quite the adventure today while she's still poisoned. Branchpaw is acting angsty and Cliffpaw is saying sorry more than they need to. After witnessing what they did, it's probably better to be safe than sorry. Condor Kit is growing fond of Dust Kit, and she'll be apprentice next moon. And then here's our younger cats growing up a little bit more. So we have Barley Kit, who's frightened after hearing a scary story, with those cobalt eyes starting to pop out. And he looks like he's going to be one to watch because whatever scary story they were saying seems to have led to a bit of a darker interest for him, and he's also impulsive. Then we have Jagged Kit, who's kind of the opposite, who's insecure and curious about StarClan, with a kind of pink marbled pelt who's extra fluffy. Then we have Pond Kit, who is a know-it-all lover of stories. And Bounce Kit, who's insecure but confident with words. Okay. That was quite a thing. So, since Morbius Fang stood alone, that basically just means that the rebellion against Shortburn lives on. They just chose not to help Morbius Fang in that instance. So the cats that are against Shortburn will continue to be so, and I guess we'll just reflect the new generators accordingly. Ooh, Reshri gets a sprain when reaching a little too far to grab a branch of Elder while balancing another, losing their balance. Our patrol has a disagreement and look to Sky Meadow to settle the dispute. Sky Meadow has no time for this spat and pulls the patrol to a halt to remind them that they have a star-damn job to do and quarreling like kittens will not be tolerated. The patrol returns to their work collecting nesting material with newfound vigor. Put the fear into the new apprentices. Honestly, like, that just makes Morbius Fang an example. If you don't want to be the new Morbius Fang, you better get back to collecting that moss. But that also means that we don't have a scapegoat anymore, which is something I hadn't really thought about. Okay. The rest of the patrols resolved well, with just some successful hunting missions. So that is gonna be today's episode. I hope that you all enjoyed. It was definitely drama-fueled. I don't know how long it's gonna be because I don't know how long I took a pause to do that generator for. But I do hope that you enjoyed that and are excited to see what else happens. I know I sure am. So I'll see you all next time. Until then, stay safe and happy, and bye!